Hello folks, and welcome to another Bitcoin market analysis by Inspocrypto. First of all, thank you very much for all your nice feedback related to the new mic and the new quality, sound quality. I will keep using, of course, the mic, and I have ordered more stuff to bring a better sound quality also in the future, even better than now, because you will hear some white noise because of my fans, and that's something I want to neutralize. So I think next week we can even get a better sound quality. As usual, we need some patience. However, thank you very much for the feedback. I really appreciate that. It helps a lot to make things better. And well, let us check what the market is going to do. Maybe this weekend. I mean, it's Friday. That's something I don't like at all, because we know what that means. Friday, low volume. That's scam, pump or dump. Nobody knows exactly. However, something we need to have in mind. We will check. I mean, I would expect to lift up a little bit more and then to decline even more, but it's weekend. Without Wall Street, it's going to be a big challenge. At the same time, we see that the DXY double bottom played out very well, like I said yesterday. Right now it looks like it wants to retest its new support at 105,400 first before it goes up more. In my opinion, we will see. I mean, we still have some hours before the day ends, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's not going to happen today anymore. So decline that could push Bitcoin a little bit more up, like SPY, for example. Even SPY at the moment not reacting to the DXY declining. So we will see. We will see what's going to happen next. Next week could be very interesting, because next week we will see the new inflation rate in the European Union. So they will next Thursday release the CPI for July, and that's going to be, in my opinion, more than expected. They are forecasting 8.9%, something where I would say that's realistic. I mean, we don't have any midterm elections or something, so we don't need to bring better figures on the paper. And however, so if the CPI is going to be 8.9 or even above, because already the last inflation information is coming from Spain, from France. For example, France is one of the strong economies here in the European Union, means, and I expect even a higher current inflation than forecasted. And that should have a big impact to DXY, because then capital will shift again from euro back to US dollar, means it will push up DXY again. And then we need to see how SPY and Bitcoin is going to react. If SPY is going to react as usual, so pushing to the downside, means next week could be at least some interesting days for bears. But we will see what's going to happen. I have mentioned I was expecting a retest of my upper trend line at 25.2 on Bitcoin. Didn't happen, unfortunately. I can show you that just so you know. We did the 24/7. We had a breakout. It was like a deviation or bull trap, and afterwards we started to decline. Now the next big challenge will be that trend line here. We maintained here very well for a few hours, well, almost the whole night. and afterwards we dumped, and I think we will retest that area. The question is if we will break or not. If we break and make a retest, we can go even more up, hitting 25,300 next before we go down. Or that's just a gap like we had just before to the downside, and we will go directly from here to just hitting 21, for example. Something we need to see. At least we can say the expectations to go to 23k this night didn't happen. They failed to push the price down to 23k because that was for today's expiry, the max pain. And that's it. Let us go forward and let us check, beginning with the Wills Ratio 30 days moving average, what's happening here and what we can expect for at least this weekend and the next few days. Well, I mean, the Wills Ratio 30 days moving average, it's interesting because holding here like it would be a support. It looks like it wants to bounce. We need to see. I mean, I don't believe that the Wills Ratio could show us some resistance or supports. But however, let us see and surprise us what the Wills Ratio 30 days moving average is going to do. It would be great if it starts to play out, even with delay, because we have really a big delay. We declined a lot and the price is still lifting up. So something I wasn't expecting, but it's happening. So we need to see what's going to happen next. Let us go forward and let us see what's happening here. One thing that's very interesting is here the stablecoin supply. That's not on centralized exchanges. The general total stablecoin supply declined a lot, and I'm saying a lot because it's $500 million less. So means they burned 500 million US dollars just between, well, in the last 3 days. And it seems yesterday afternoon they reduced even by 400 million. That's a lot of cash, indicating they're sucking capital from the crypto market. That's what this information is telling us. At the same time, the Wills Ratio 30 hours moving average declined a lot, was touching 90%, it declined, maintains again 88. 88 is something like, I would say something like an idle. So they are keep sending Bitcoins, but it's not really not indicating the next big huge dump, for example. Everything about above of 90 is critical, and we see the stablecoin reserves on exchanges lifted up, is still lifting up, as you can see, while, and that's the most interesting part, the stablecoin supply declined. So some people, I guess those who sold their Bitcoins, whatever, in January or even a little bit later, and they withdraw with stablecoins, some of them are coming back. It doesn't really look very organic. I mean, when I see such a big pump in stablecoin reserves on centralized exchanges, that means to me, like we have seen here, that centralized exchanges are refilling their stablecoin reserves because they are expecting something. A bigger demand, and usually the bigger demand is not really the common case why they are refilling, but a sell-off. So we need to be very careful this weekend, in my opinion. The Wills Ratio maintains a level. It was below 80%. That's what the price lifted up a little bit, and afterwards it lifted up to 90%. That's the current level. That's big and high, and that's it. Let us go forward and check what the inflow activity or the flow activity in general is indicating us. So then let us see what's happening here. We can see nothing, absolutely nothing. After yesterday, the inflow activity declined a lot. As you can see here, that's the orange line. Let me disable the stable coins. And yeah, so we need to see what's going to happen next. I'm not sure if they distributed all of that. I have also retweeted a nice thread by 52SQ indicating they're distributing spot by using futures again, just you know, to maintain the price, and at the same time just to bring some dynamic in the price so they can dump into those future pumps. I mean, it's not pure future. It can happen because we have two different markets, derivative and spot, but they are using both at the moment. So we can see here a big Bitcoin outflow of 5,600 Bitcoin just 2 hours ago, indicating they are just taking out some Bitcoins of those last price fall, it seems. Even if we are not receiving big inflows anymore. I mean, the last big was just closed before we started to decline. It's not more aggressive enough. I mean, they are declining. It looks very like taking profit. It looks like distributing. It doesn't look like they want to generate any fear or something. At the same time, we know, and I have retweeted that as well, that was IT Tech, for example, that he was mentioning that, for example, miners are distributing. They need to pay their bills, I guess, and of course they need to sell. And yeah, that's it. Let us check what stablecoins are doing here. Also, since yesterday, nothing. Really, absolutely flat. Absolutely flat. So nothing we can see here that could be useful for us. So let us see what the future market is showing. And the first thing I'm noticing here is again another big Bitcoin inflow just 2 hours ago. So let us see what's happening here. The funding rate lifted up, and at the moment it's declining, indicating they're right now demanding more shorts than longs. Open interest did almost the same. It lifted up and it's declining right now, and as you see, correlates very well to even the leverage ratio. So right now more declining. Bitcoin right now also declining because SPY is declining. Some people think Bitcoin is following SPX. I never have said that Bitcoin is following SPX. If you check and analyze the charts comparing SPX with Bitcoin and Bitcoin with SPY, you will see that Bitcoin is always reacting very sensitive to SPY. At the moment, SPY is reacting again very sensitive to any little move of DXY, and that's why we are lifting up, declining, lifting up, declining. That's what's happening. And if we check DXY, and that's not going to happen now because we will make that later, we will see that DXY will decline and retest its support before we will go up more. I mean DXY, and that will generate more sell pressure afterwards. But as mentioned in the beginning of this analysis, I think that's going to happen next week. I don't think that's going to happen today. So, stablecoin inflow to derivatives declining, nothing big, absolutely not bad. 1, 2, 3. What the hell is here happening? Let us check if that's linked to the market maker. Of course it is. Again. And usually when he is doing that, that's such kind of preparation. And we had that in the past. At least that's the pattern. So indicating he wants to push the price again down. It's possible. To be honest, that's what I would expect if we retest 25.2 before. And that's the big question, if we are going to do that before or just go straight to the downside, retest the lower trend line. And then we need to see what's going to happen there. Interesting here is again that the funding rate, I mean, only because we received those bitcoins doesn't mean he's placing those bitcoins directly in a future contract, but afterwards the funding rate declines. So we need to be very careful because something or many started to demand more shorts than longs. And we know, I mean, my theory in the beginning was always they prefer to long with Bitcoin collateral, and now we know they also short with Bitcoin collateral, so we need to be very careful. They don't care. They are just making, I mean, it makes sense as mentioned once. If you have the opportunity because you have a lot of Bitcoins, use these Bitcoins. If you have the power to drive the market as well, you can make Bitcoins for less because you use them, you short, you long, you can push the price up. You're going to generate more Bitcoins with that if you're using Bitcoin collateral contracts. Would be a smart and clever way to make more Bitcoins. And if you want to push the price down afterwards, use those Bitcoins. And that's it. You will have always the same balance. You use just Bitcoin collateral futures to make more Bitcoins. You let them on the exchange because you don't know to withdraw them. You can hide your next operation, your next big move. That's very clever if they are doing that. That's just a theory. Let us go forward and check what's happening here. Well, as every time, and that's something that always happens, if we go down, people think the next step is to go up again. I mean, they are not that wrong. I'm longing at the moment since 23,600 because that was, for me, I was thinking at least a dead cat bounce or a little bounce. And even I don't like to use high leverage, I'm using 25 this time because it was very clear we will bounce there just to make some money and to use them maybe afterwards. I will stay away this weekend. I don't like to trade weekends, and we will see how the market reacts. I mean, if I see a clear, solid dump or pump, I will trade that. Otherwise, I will stay away. So what we see here is 60 to 40. It's incredible bearish in my opinion if the exchanges wants to liquidate them. On Ethereum, it's the opposite. 55 to 45 indicating there's a lot expecting the next big dump on Ethereum. And it seems the merge will happen mid of September. And many were saying because it seems some moon boys were a little bit scared after I tweeted that the Ethereum reserves on centralized exchanges are rising. And one guy in particular, a very smart one to be honest, just said something, he can smell my beers. Well, first of all, I don't care what he's saying, but it was a very suboptimal comment because I was never bearish on Ethereum. Never. I was bearish on Bitcoin. I never was bearish on Ethereum. How many times I told you that even the European Investment Bank, for example, is using Ethereum blockchain for a crypto project they are using. How many times I told you that even the Bank of England was shilling Ethereum in the past. Well, I don't know. I don't remember. I have stopped to count. Then to make such a comment shows this guy don't know me, and it was just to discredit me So I blocked him. I love this function, to be honest. I really love it because you can press a button. He doesn't have any access to your stuff anymore, and good luck. So yeah, we will see what's going to happen here next, because I know that many people are still thinking that Ethereum could nuke very soon. September, you will remember. I still think in September something big is going to happen and will surprise a lot of people. Maybe it's at least related to crypto, really indicating that they will do what they did with other before and with other merges. They accumulate very aggressively, push the price up, and the day when everything is happening, they start to nuke it to take profit. So it's possible. Let us check what the Kingfisher is showing here. It takes a little bit as usual, and nothing, really nothing have changed. Absolutely nothing. That's Binance. I mean, I think we had more liquidation volume in that area, but however, doesn't look that bad, to be honest. So we have here accumulation, liquidation cluster here. Well, on longs it's here and here, so almost the whole part. But if that looks extremely bearish. I will tell you why. That's 28. So the liquidation volume for shorts starts to lift up at 28k. To be honest, if we are really breaking 25k to the upside, 28 will be the next level, and in my opinion, the absolutely maximum top. Everything else would extremely surprise me, because the market is not in conditions to go up. And I mean, of course, we can do, but in August, really? It wouldn't make sense. The volume is declining and so on and so forth. Well, then maintain maybe that price until September when people are coming back to dump into them. Maybe possible. I don't think so. I really have big doubts. But you know that exchange walls are indicating 28k, 27, like Bitfinex, like Coinbase, like Binance, like FTX. I mean, almost every exchange wall is showing an exchange wall. I don't know what I said just a few seconds ago, but however, exchange wall at 27, between 27 and 28k. So that could be possible, but in case that plays out, we will not liquidate that cluster here, because then we need to go even more up. So I think that looks much more jammy for the exchanges, and it's very close to the current price, so it wouldn't surprise me to go up a little bit more to collect some more longs and then to go down. Let us check FTX, and then we are done related to futures. Yeah, it's exactly, well, not exactly, but almost the same. So we have that cluster here very close to current price. If we really want some liquidation cluster related to shorts, we need to go up above of 28k. That's fact. And that's it. Let us go and talk about options. So let us see what's happening here. Well, first of all, we can see that, and I have mentioned that even yesterday, when the price is lifting up, what is FTX doing? Right, it's selling, it's distributing, it's selling more than buying, because the volume delta is exactly showing us that. And as you see, I mean, I have warned we need to be extremely careful because they did that once. That was a very interesting institutional stamp where if the X started to accumulate quick to dump afterwards, even in a lower price. Usually that's a signal that someone behind an institutional has a strategy to push the price more to the downside. So we need to see how far they want to go. While, for example, the aggregated is showing to lift up, even Bitcoin collateral futures and stablecoin futures are doing exactly the opposite of FTX, as you can see. At the moment, some volatility just because of the XY, and yeah, so not cool, but okay. Let us go forward and check what's happening here. Binance, as mentioned, is lifting up, so doing the opposite of FTX. If we go up, even Coinbase, look, Coinbase is not buying. Wow. They have a negative CBD since yesterday. No, since this morning, indicating they are selling more than buying. And of course, who is the main driver of volatility? Bitfinex. Always the same actor behind. That's really pain in the ass. Really pain in the ass. So let me go to the 30 minutes time frame here to show you what is happening on Binance Perp. We declined, lifted up, declined even more the funding rate, indicating they are demanding more shorts at the moment, while the open interest is declining or was declining and now lifting up. So indicating shorts are coming in at the moment. We need to see. We really need to see. I still would expect a leg up. At least then we would have in 1 hour time frame something like a double top. Would be, at least based on TA, a nice signal, but we need to see. We really need to see what's going to happen here. As mentioned just before, the entities were active again, and we will check what they did, if they lifted up their balances or not. And of course not. Inspo told you. Of course not. And that's what we see here. Of course not. What the hell? Hey, go away. So they reduced once again their balances by 20,000. It's not that huge, but indicating 20,000. Really interesting because they are using that, what I described just before. They're using Bitcoins not directly to sell. They are not sending Bitcoins directly to spot, but to derivative exchanges. So it's really interesting what these guys are doing, to be honest. At the same time, we can see these guys have raised their balances again. Not big, absolutely not. Almost 10,000. These guys stabilized since yesterday. Well, shrimps, retailers buying, even the retailers are declining a little bit, but nothing big. And even exchanges, or at least 80% of those entities are linked to exchanges, indicating also declining. Usually that, I would say, it's not really bearish, because when these guys are reducing the balances means they are selling Bitcoin, right? But as said, 80%. So we don't know if exchanges are reducing the balances or even some bigger whales are doing it with more than 10,000 Bitcoin, something we don't know. But however, at the moment, indicating no one is really accumulating. The only ones were here, but these guys are not the market drivers, first of all, and second, they are not accumulating that big, like for example what these guys usually do. And they are really surprising me, because I called, well, I would expect 5,070,000 like last year, and now we are below 5 million, and they are not rising above 5 million anymore. So that's, in my opinion, extremely bearish and then absolutely not bullish. Absolutely not. So for me, it's really hard to flip to bullish at the moment, even if the price goes up, just because, I mean, it's facts. It's not my beers. I mean, it's entities. They are not accumulating. If you buy fucking Bitcoin, you need an entity. You need a wallet. Don't tell me some people are accumulating. It has to appear here. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Okay? Even the big market drivers, these guys here, the entity site last year, make your research, check my tweets from last year. I have spent a lot of time making analysis about these entities. I have shown these guys are the market drivers. They are the main fake rally initiators. They know everything. They accumulated in 2019, 2020. They initiated the bull run. They initiated the crash in May. And these guys are not accumulating. But you are bullish. That's the whole story. Now find the mistake. I mean, not saying you can't trade a fake rally or, absolutely. If you are a trader, if you make money trading because, go for it. Be an expert. Manage your risks and go make money to the upside, make money to the downside. But I'm reading all the time now on Twitter, bull run, moon next, bull run, bull market, bear market is over. Bullshit. That's a big, big bullshit. Because nothing have changed. Absolutely nothing have changed. And even if we will go more up, doesn't mean we will not nuke afterwards very hard. It's August. Let us wait what in September is going to happen. So that's it. Let us go forward. So let us start with Coinbase directly. You see what Coinbase is doing, right? Pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. The most interesting part here is they are pushing up, but distributing. Isn't that nice? So just giving and following, showing, look, we push up, everything is fine while they are distributing. Because the volume delta is negative, like we can see, for example, here. Not big, because Coinbase never has a really big volume delta. Here was a big one, minus 100, or even here, plus 130. But compared to Binance, that's peanuts. That's really peanuts. We are here right now, 2 Bitcoins volume delta, Coinbase. Really? You're one of the biggest exchanges in the world, and that's it? Shame on you. Really shame on you. That's really sad. Even here, 77 volume delta, that's absolutely nothing. Well, they are, of course, they want to push up the price, hitting 24, and they are also here right now. They want to break the price a little bit, so they will continue and push the price more. We still have our limitation here at 25k. We have another limitation here at 23,500. So we will see how far they want to bring the price up. Everything depends as well of DXY. As long DXY maintains neutral, doesn't start to push hard up, that nothing will happen. But as you see, I mean, if we go back, you see what happened. You see the candle wick, you see what DXY did. SPY is reacting, and that's really boring what they are doing. It's always the same. It's like, sometimes I really think you are trading against the matrix. It's wow. algo trading. You are trading against algos. That's the everything. So let us go forward and check what's happening here. We have a limitation here 25,500. We see here also some limitation at 23,400 at the moment. Even here they are also limiting their way up at the moment at 24,000 because that's a resistance. So also here indicating what they are doing, everything well controlled. I think I will even close my long because I don't like this kind of games. I will take profit and enjoy the weekend, and thank you very much for the free money. So let us go forward and check what's happening here. Nothing on Bitstamp, really nothing. Binance Spot was limiting at 23,500. My entry was 23,600, almost here, because they were limiting here and it bounced very accurate afterwards. We still have my red line indicating that should be the break. I mean, that's if they want to maintain this bullish momentum, they need to break the 24/7 and go up even more, hitting 25k. We will see if they are going to do that or not. And that's it. That's absolutely it. Yeah, 25. The next wall would be 26. And limitation to the downside 23. And that's it on Binance Spot. Bitfinex Spot. Wow, what these guys are doing here. Bitfinex. Okay, crazy. A lot of sell orders above of 25k. 25k here, so nothing big to the upside, to be honest. Absolutely nothing. FTX perp. Wow, look, FTX waiting here 25 and limiting here, hello, and limiting here 23. So at the moment more volume to the upside than to the downside. Even they are trying to push up the price with this buy order here. That's so, it's everything algo trading. It's like go in the casino and put some coins and, you know, and so I don't know how you call that in English, but just in a machine. That feels like. Let us go forward. Kraken doing exactly the same. Also waiting here 25k, also waiting here 23k. So it seems we have a trading range between 23 and 25k. Something we should have in mind. If we go even more up, 24,100 or 24k should be the next step from here. I mean, that's not a big step because we have a diagonal trend line there. So it would make sense if I take a look here also to the MA50, no, MA20, if I'm not wrong. It would be almost at the same level, 24,100. However, also limiting 24,500 and 25. Doesn't look like they want to go straight to the upside to 25. 23 is very well protected. Let us check Bitmax. Bitmax here also waiting at 25k. Also here 24,100 and at 23,500. Nothing to the downside. Binance Futures. Binance Futures 23,500. And a lot of volume waiting between 24,500 and 25,300. And the next bigger buy order at 21,100. Oops, sorry. Bitfinex derivatives. look what they are doing. Limiting their way down 22,500, 23, and even 23,500. Also waiting here at 24,650. And with low volume waiting here 26, nothing at 25. So be careful, because at the moment, to be honest, it looks like a little bit a preparation. Like, we will have a tiny trade range over this weekend. We shouldn't expect any big thing next week before, for example, Thursday, to play a little bit around, to push the price more, hitting 25k, and then CPI, Euro, 8-9 or even more. Euro will decline again. US dollar will show its how strong it is. It will push up. DXY will push like crazy then afterwards, and that will bring Bitcoin and SPY down again, or at least generate big sell pressure. And last but not least, no, that's not right. Kraken futures, but FTX spot. That's the big one. It's not the big one, but in my opinion, the most interesting. Also here, more volume to the upside than to the downside. Also here, limiting the way up at 24,700. So that could be our next level, it seems. They have a new wallet 27,300 and a lot of algo signs here, including this. I don't know what that is, this cross, but we have now 24,700 and 23, and that's it. Let us go and talk about my personal opinion.